What's happening, people? Monday Night Football. Let's get to it. Hey, I was telling everybody about Emporium, and it's up in, I guess, the northeastern side of the city outside of Atlanta. And today, I'm doing a Robert Caldwell plume. Come to find out, it actually had plume on it. So, you know, I had to grab it up. And usually whenever somebody see cigars in there with plume on them, they're not gonna last long. They're gonna come in and they're gonna grab them and they're gonna do what they're supposed to do with them. And so, let's be realistic, that's what that is. Today, on my heart, it said, hey, we have to place ourselves in a liberated state. Meaning, not only as a people, but we have to liberate ourselves to the point where as financially we're liberated. Emotionally we're liberated. Spiritually we're liberated. Family we're liberated. You know, we can go around and try to hold on to things and try to push this, you know, this persona out like, you know, oh, you know, woe is me, or I'm the best thing going since sliced bread. And at the end of the day, no one is perfect. No one is perfect. So we can call it like it is. And for every, you know, big dog there is, there's a bigger dog that you're going to meet at some point in time. Hell, look at what happened in football yesterday. Miami put up 70 on a team. Arizona beat Dallas. And the sad part about it, they already breaking TVs. It's just the third game into the season, and people are out here breaking TVs, and they just don't understand, man. Listen, as much as I love the Falcons, and please, you know, it was disappointing yesterday, you know, to watch them Falcons, because deep down inside, I've always wanted to believe that the quarterback play would get better, you know. And can he develop into a good player? You know, that's up to him. But the one thing that I do know, and what I saw, was he's going to either get his receivers killed by floating that ball up that high, or he waits too long to hold the ball. And I think everyone that is in the league, you know, now they own this premise of, you know, I don't want to get no interception. I mean, some of your greats had high interception rates. They had high interception rates. Brett Favre was a gunslinger. Troy Aikman stunk it up his first year. Terry Bradshaw had a lot of picks. You know, Young had some picks on him. Montana had some picks. I mean, I think the one, you know, even Peyton Manning had picks. And to me, I think that he was probably one of the smartest players to play the game, because he understood the concept of formation, where you're supposed to be. He knew the plays like the back of his hand, and he would audible out and change out when he needed to. So I say that about Ritter, is that some of those plays that, you know, and seeing it from a different angle and not being in actual game is real time in the game. You know, in the stands and on TV, You get to see the replay. You get to see it in slow motion. You get to see how you went about making a. So yeah, it's a disadvantage on that aspect. But we all know if it's 4th and 2 or 2nd and 2, keep moving the chains. Keep moving the chains. Keep putting the pressure on them. And our defense, man, we got to get some. We got to get some pressure on these guys, man. We just can't let them sit back there and throw the ball and tie up their shoelaces and all that kind of stuff, man. We just can't do it. Everyone is professional, so everyone is good. You know, you got to think about it. You guys are the best 2,200 in the world. You know, and you got some that are elite over that. You know, so when you start talking about the best 100 out of 2,300 people, that's a lot. You know, that's a, you know, and then you start talking about for you even make it to the NFL level, you are the best of the best. So I get it and I understand it. But, you know, look at Houston. Houston went in and just destroyed. I mean, it's week 3 and people losing a lot of money, and Walmart is making a lot of money off of TVs already. So I don't know what else to say about it, but just, hey, get it together. You know, stand for your team, stand for your city, stand for the city that backs you. You know, stand for the city that pays your check and your salary and your jerseys and the popcorn and all this kind of stuff to come down and cheer. Because please believe, you know, it can always be a situation where if nobody show up, then what's gonna happen? You know, so you got to put a product out that'll keep people coming in. And what that product is playoffs, division titles, Super Bowl appearances, and Super Bowl championships. There's a reason why certain fields will sell out every year regardless. So, but let me get back to this thing here. So Caldwell is naturally a medium guy. Medium, I've always said medium with a lot of flavor. He has boatloads of flavor in it. You know, from the Calubra, which is the three cigars rolled in one, and I've talked about that. He got the new one out called Long Live the Queen, which is a great stick. Of course, Long Live the King, the Mad King, Eastern Standard, the Eastern Standard Cream Crush, the Blind Man's Bluff. I mean, he does a phenomenal job on his cigars. Oh, the Yellow Cake. I mean, let's not forget the Yellow Cake. Yellow Cake is crazy, and they're hard to find. You know, so if you find someone that got it, grab it. And then he got the partnerships that he did with AJ Fernandez, which is the Midnight Express, which is a more bolder profile. It's a more heavier profile. So you got to think about it, man. He does a great one, and one of my all-time favorites that he does. Well, 2. I take that back. It's 2. One is the Savage, and the other one is the Last Czar. I love his names. His names are crazy. I mean, his names are crazy, and he took time and effort and energy, and everything about it is classy. It's a classy situation, from the labels to the profile to the tobacco to the presentation to the write-up on it. Everything is always a classy piece. You know, I always try to tell people, you know, cigars are funny because, you know, it's a lot of branding that goes on in cigars. And with branding, you know, people have a tendency to look at something based upon the band. The band is going to draw them in. The band is going to be what connects to the eye. Hey, man, they got a nice band on it. I need to try that. Now, it can be some BS, but it got a nice band. And guess what? People will try them. Some of your simple bands, they might, unless somebody know about them, they probably won't try them. They probably won't try them. So what I advise anybody that's trying to get into this business, whether you're trying to be as a brick and mortar or whether you're trying to be as a manufacturer, it's a lot of components that go on in this. A lot. The one thing that I've said on several podcasts and things like that, even when me and Rima was doing our thing on Sportsadelic, we're gonna get back another and do some more. But the thing about it is that your brick and mortars are based solely on identifying what you are. If you are a cigar store, if you are a after hour spot, or you a bar. Now, the difference between the three is that a cigar store strictly just sells cigars and accessories. That's it. And they usually are closed early. An after hour spot is they sell cigars, accessories, but they have later hours. And some of the spots could be BYOB, some of the spots can be, that type of situation. And then you have your cigar bars, which they are fully fledged alcohol, food, and cigars. Now, sometimes you come across a spot that's a cigar bar. Their cigar selection is not it might not be the best. Because their main revenue is gonna be the alcohol. It's gonna be the alcohol. After our spot, their main situation is gonna be volume. If they're gonna offer 10 o'clock for you to sit around and smoke a cigar, they need you to patronize the store. All of them need you to patronize the store regardless. Because if you don't patronize them, then we won't have them. And we won't have these spots where we can sit back and go to smoke a cigar and congregate with other people and communicate with other people. So support your cigar shops. And so you have that aspect of it. Now, from a manufacturing side, there's a lot of cigars that other people make for them, and a lot of people don't even realize, oh, this is so-and-so. Yeah, but so-and-so makes them. So it's the same tobacco as what they have on their line. It may age a little bit more, because when they get it, it might be aged to a certain to a certain extent, and then the other company might age it a little bit more. Another trick that they have is that rebranding. So, you have to pay X amount of dollars for each line that you have. That's a lot of people don't understand that. So if you see something that comes out and they say, hey, this is so-and-so and so-and-so cigar. And a year from now, you can't find that cigar because it was a limited edition. They only sold that. Then what you got to understand is that they'll come back out and then you'll try the cigar. Be like, man, this tastes just like the other one. 9 times out of 10, it's probably the same one. They just renamed it. Same line. The other thing is that understand the difference between short filler, long filler. Short filler is always going to be used for some of your larger ring gauges, your 56s, your 54s, your 60 ring gauge, your 70 ring gauge, your 80s, your 90s, all of that. Because you're going to have a lot of issues and problems if you have a long filler 60 ring gauge cigar. That's going to be a that's going to be a strong cigar. And the average person could not smoke one of those cigars. It's only a small amount of people that can deal with the digger style or the footballs and all of those type of things, because it's just too much tobacco. And to me it takes away from the flavor and the taste, because all you tasting is just tobacco. And it can be overwhelming. That's why I've always stated, for me, best size has always been Lancero. The next size to the Lancero is the Toro. Because you got a smaller ring gauge, but you're dealing with majority leaf in that cigar. And then you're blended with your binder, your filler, your wrap, your cap. So there's 4 components of that cigar. You have the inside, which is going to be your filler. And that's, either long filler or broken up, short. And you can always usually tell when you have short filler is if you go to relight and some of the little pieces start to fall off and break apart and all that kind of stuff. That's usually one of your signs you have short filler. Or you can be smoking and it'll just drop and it'll fall onto your shirt. And we all know that, guys who play golf, all it takes is 1 second for that fire to hit that golf shirt, and then you got a permanent hole in that shirt. The other thing, and that is that when you identify the binder is going to give you X amount of components to it. So some people might do Nicaraguan filler, Nicaraguan binder, Dominican, Honduran, or Nicaraguan, Honduran, Dominican, Cameroon. They might do a Brazilian, Oscuro. They might do those type of wraps to give it more of that body taste to it. To give you that ending finish. And then you have your cap. Your cap is going to be the very top of your cigar. And you're never supposed to cut past your cap. You're never supposed to cut past your cap. I've talked about how I don't really choose to do V-cuts or holes, punch. And that's just my personal view of it. Because, like I told you, as the smoke is coming in, it has to bottleneck and then come out of the punch, and then it has to bottleneck and come out of the V. So, which is going to change the components of how that cigar is supposed to taste. So whenever these blenders go out here and they blend in it based upon a straight cut, which means that the smoke is coming straight through. When you have a torpedo, I've always cut my torpedo in a slant. The reason why, once again, it's about flow. So as the cigar comes in, it opens up and it allows for all of your taste and your palate to come in and say, hey, I taste the cinnamon, I taste the nutty, I taste the earthy, I taste the caramel, I taste the oak, I taste the hickory. There's so many different components of it. So that's just how it is. I'll always try to put you guys together and have conversations with you about cigars, lifestyle, all of it. Smoke well, my friends. Enjoy.